Okay, so for 432, it looks like you're asked to solve for x. That should be pretty straightforward. Guys, quiet, please. So those two angles have to add to 90, or those two angles plus 90 add to 180. Either way is fine. Solve for x, you get 10. They're asking are the angles acute or obtuse. Well, they have to be acute if you're having the right angle, right? And plus, if you prove it, you get 68 and 22. So of course they're acute. And they're also complementary. That's another relationship we could say because they have to 90. So you want to be able to recognize complementary angles. So that should be pretty straightforward. 439 is some of the new stuff we've been doing with trigonometry. So tangent of 8 degrees is t over 82. Tan 75 is 12 over p. Tan 68 is b over 60. Solve them algebraically. B is a little trickier because the variable's in the denominator. So it's an extra step. You multiply both sides by p, then divide by the tan 75. But the other ones are just one step, like multiply 82 for part A, multiply by 60 for part C. Use the calculator, get the rest of the answer. Make sure you're in degree mode. Very important. Do not be in radian mode. It will give you a wrong answer. If you do in Desmos, that's fine too. But in Desmos, just remember, if you do that, there's a little setting, like a little, looks like a little wrench over there. Just switch to degrees and it'll do just fine. And I still need to put this in Schoology. This is the TI-84 website. With a calculator website, you can just go to mode, switch to degrees. So if you're like doing this homework, and you don't have a calculator with you, you're like out and about for like sports practice or whatever, you can always just rely on those resources to do these problems. For 440, they're asking to solve for x. So it's just a variety of stuff. A is obviously Pythagorean theorems, work that out, and you should get something clean. And by the way, hopefully you could recognize if you divide this by 6, don't you get 3 and 5? So this has to be 4, right? That's a common triple or common set of sides for a right triangle, 3, 4, 5. So we see that 18 to 30 follow that ratio if you divide both by 6. So I'd imagine that if I multiply 4 by 6, that'd be x. You could always approach it in that manner too if you ever wanted to. But Pythagorean theorem is a way to prove it as well. That has to make a full circle. As you can imagine, that's a full circle. Add them all up. So equal 360, solve for x, get 40. For C, you want to line it up correctly. So the 20 and 20s have to match up. The 146.8s match up. That means 3 goes with 5, or 5 goes with 3, and 12 goes with x. Cross multiply, work it out. You should get the answer there. Yep, that makes absolute total sense. 443. I got a word problem. And I did actually bring a couple of measuring tapes from my house, and I need to talk to Mr. Davis about the clinometer. So hopefully we can go outside this week and, we could like measure the height of a tree or the main building. But, this person kind of is doing some similar experiment, right? Like looks up at a person, okay, her father. She's 15 feet away. She has to look up 68 degrees to see the top of her or to see her father's eyes. And, 15 inches away. Never mind. So high above the ground were the father's eyes, and Mary's eyes are 32 inches above the ground. So just do the tangent first, set it up that way, but then you have to add 32 afterwards because you're going from her eyes to his eyes, but obviously this horizontal leg goes like to his waist or somewhere in his body. So you're only solving for this portion, you have to add 32 to the full height of the father. For 444, that's just old school stuff like area parallelograms base times height. Area of trapezoids 1/2 b1 plus b2 times h. The funky one there, just chop them to recognizable shapes. For D, chop them to recognizable shapes, 2 trapezoids and a rectangle in the middle. Work it out individually. Should get all those answers. Okay. Yeah, that's smart. I like that actually. That's a really good idea. Yeah, that's actually really clever because that would be 11 up top, 1/2 times 11 plus 23. That's 34 total. So half that's 17. The height is 8. 17 times 8 should get you, am I doing that correctly? No, 44. Yikes. 22 times 8. Hold up. No, I'm losing my mind. It is half of 34, which is 17. 80, that's 126. Wait. Oh, but then subtract the little portion minus 6. Wait. Oh, 136. Okay, sorry, I can't do this way. Choose a calculator. My apologies. 17 times 8 is 136. but subtract 6 for that little portion. That's how you did, Nick. You took that little portion out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got 130. That's right. I like that. That's good. Okay, so we're okay on the homework. Okay, good. One thing that I think we should start doing again, I do need to start quizzing you guys again. We'll go back to quizzes again on Wednesday. So we'll have a homework quiz. The homework quiz will be go in the homework category. I could talk to Mr. Davidson. Maybe we could put some quizzes in the major category if it helps you guys. I could talk to Mr. Davidson about that. But I'm just gonna put some stuff on tangent. Just make sure you guys remember that. And maybe something on right triangles. So do you expect the homework quiz? I'll put in Schoology as a reminder. Just to make sure you guys are keeping up the homework. I'm not saying you guys are not keeping up, but just make sure you're remembering what you do. I think that's really what I wanted to say about that. That should hopefully act as a grade boost. So anyhow, that's coming down the pipeline. Okay, if you guys get notes out, if anyone is missing their note packet, I did at least make copies of today's lesson. But hopefully that thick note packet, you have not lost it because it's a lot of paper. So if you get to the parses 512, we're gonna go through these problems. We're gonna do maybe a handful of these, have you guys try some. We'll talk about stuff on the next page. And after that, as I promised, the rest of the class is just for you guys to sort of work on homework or do stuff for another class, or if you just need a moment to put your head down, that's a-okay. I get it. Two. You want to do more?
No.
No? All right, okay. But when I get you guys a little more fresh on Wednesday, we do more. Okay. So remember, the 3 trig functions we learned: sine, cosine, tangent, SOH, TOA, SOH, CAH, TOA. There are other ways you could memorize this. I'm totally gonna butcher this and hope I don't get in trouble, but I've worked with one too many a few months ago. He said silly old Hitler, and it's something about Hitler. I don't know. Anyhow, I mean, I'm not gonna probably broach that. Way I remembered it in 6th grade, that's actually the first time I saw this. Oliver has a heap of apples. I don't know if that makes any sense. But you have to still know the SCT part. I don't know. SOHCAHTOA, just go SOHCAHTOA. So if you want to think of your own mnemonic, go for it. Anyhow. So that's what we're gonna apply. So I'll do maybe ABC, I guess. Have you guys try the rest, and I'll walk around, help you guys out. So clearly you're asked to find X, and you're given 19. X is opposite of 28, so that's an O. And that's an H. So which one uses O and H? Yep, the sine, right, correct. Thank you, Anthony. I know you had your hand raised. So sine of 28 degrees, that's a relationship. The sine of that angle equals X over 19. And we'll work that out in a moment. What do you think I'm gonna use for B? That's opposite. And that's adjacent. O and A. O and A? Of course, I'll get a tangent. By the way, since it's 45 degrees, I know X is going to be 8 because they have to have the same sides if they have the same angles. Because the other angle that's not shown is also 45. And when 2 angles are the same, the sides opposite are also the same. We know this. But you can solve if you want. I know the answer is 8. You don't have to waste your time solving one. Lastly, for this one here, 61 is the angle we're interested in. 18 is adjacent to it. X, of course, is the hypotenuse. We don't care about the opposite. This is the opposite, but we don't care. It's not of interest to us because we just want to use the adjacent hypotenuse. Which one uses the adjacent hypotenuse? Cosine. So you gotta use cosine. So the calculator, what the calculator does, it's kind of like a table. The calculator has these values stored. Like they kind of imagine, what if I had like a 61-degree angle, and what if like I had like, you know, all like what if like the hypotenuse is 1 or whatever? what would the other sides be in relation to that? So it's looking at the ratios of sides. That's all it's ever doing. So cosine 61 degrees equals 18 over x. Okay, if I solve this, should be pretty straightforward. This would be 18 over cosine 61 because you have to multiply by x and divide by cosine. That's for part C. For part A, that's going to be 19 times sine 28. So let's use that. And then you guys could try D through I. Okay. 19 sin 28. Make sure I'm in degree mode. I am. 8.92. 18 divided by cos 61. 37.13. Wait, I don't know why I did degrees. I'm sorry. That was stupid. Just 37 points. It's not an angle. My apologies. Okay, go and try the rest. I'll work it out as well, and we'll compare in a few minutes. Work out the rest. You need a calculator for sure. Or you could use like your laptop and use Desmos or the TI-4 calculator app. Yeah, what's up? Yeah, of course, yeah.
The setups just like
Yeah, I'm gonna do setups right now. Here's the first one.
how do you find that?
Wait, yeah.
Okay,
wait.
so 6 is opposite, x is hypotenuse. Clear 6 is opposite side 25 degrees. Hypotenuse is always the slanted side, one opposite the right angle. Which one uses O and H? Of the 3 options, S, C, or T, has to be sine. So let me write it over here so you guys have the reference. SOH, CAH, TOA. Of course. Hold on, my mouse is not working now. Shoot, what's going on here? What? Look, it's my trackpad. Oh, it's just frustrating.
Why is that one cosine?
Because 8 is adjacent
Uh,
to 60 degrees. So adjacent means next to, opposites, and hypotenuse is always okay. Let's do F. Okay, X. How's X in relation to 30? It's opposite. Okay, so you have the O. What's 42 in relation to 30? Nope. 42 is hypotenuse.
and then X is.
Yes, it is next to it. I agree, but it does not get that label because 42 is opposite the right angle. Anything opposite the right angle is always hypotenuse. We know that. So you have to use sine for this one.
Oh, and then. So if it's H is of. Sine. Sine. 32. 42.
Okay, so that's
So it's sine 30 degrees,
sine 30 degrees,
42 over
x over 42.
opposite.
Correct. My mouse is really struggling here. X over 42. And then this one's going to be cosine equals x over 3. That one's kind of weird. I mean, we'll do it.
Oh. We're gonna go here.
Oh, that's super easy. Oh, that's weird.
So when there's no hypotenuse, it's always gonna be tangent.
Correct. Right. Because it doesn't involve h.
R line, but R line, you know what, C, you know what C is? Okay.
Jesus Christ. There. Okay. Hopefully, guys, what do you guys at first one? 14 point. You got 14.20. Sine 25. 6 over sine 25. You might have been around a little too soon. So it's tangent. Yep. Because you're using a slope triangle. That's going to be 16.
What is it? Oh,
Which one?
what is it?
Cosine.
Yeah, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, a over h. So are you looking at e?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be cosine. Because 8 is next to 60 and x is your hypotenuse. That one's gonna be 21. Notice some of these are coming out kind of nice and clean. Sometimes that will happen.
Oh, wait, I did it wrong.
No worries, you have to 8 divided by. Right. Yeah. So you guys are okay?
Yeah, I got all that.
Yeah, I got. Oh, so I divided by two. I divided by 2.42.
Yeah, you did, so what you're doing is that you're rounding a little too soon.
So we don't get around to this.
Wait till the end's round, don't round in the middle, that's what you did.
So just rounding.
Type in 6 divided by sine 25. What you're doing is you're computing sine 25, rounding that, and then doing
So
the
you're not
calculation.
gonna get.
You're not getting a very accurate answer, you're rounding a little too early.
How would you like solve for D?
For D, multiply both sides by x, so, yeah, so I didn't show that, yeah, so you multiply both sides by x. And then what happens at 6, then you divide by,
Then you have to do this, sin for 25.
then you have to divide by sine 25, so x will equal
So X equals the
6 over 6 over sine 25.
and then that's your answer after you get that.
Right. Yeah, where that is, that's 14.2. Okay, questions? We're doing okay? Okay, cool. All right, one more page, and then the academic day is over for you guys, hopefully. Then you got your whatever other stuff you got going on in your lives. So, all right, let's clear that. Okay, let's read about Marta here. So Marta arrived for a geometry test only to find she forgot her calculus. She decided to complete as much of each problem as possible. So explain each of Marta's steps below or work below. Setup is fine. That totally makes sense. Sine 25 is 20 over x. Multiply both sides by x. That's great. X is that. That's great. So far, everything's good. So this is actually.
You're frozen.
Oh, there we go. This is actually perfect. Sorry, I think I need to buy a new mouse this afternoon because this is totally struggling. So perfect. Or just use my iPad. So it's perfect. Okay, good. So now that is called an exact answer because there's no decimal. There's no, actually, let me just type that up. It's gonna be easier, I think. There's no decimal approximation.
Just like hit the whole time.
Okay, no decimal approximation. Now I use a calculator to get the decimal approximation. So if I do 29 divided by sine 25, I should get 68.62. Fine. By the way, that should be a large number because it's the hypotenuse, right? We expect that to happen. Oh my goodness. 68.62. Okay. And that's in centimeters, so don't forget the units. Yeah, 68.62 cent. Let me just type that up. That's awful. 68.62 centimeters. There we go. Okay. Now Mars' teammate said he solved it differently, but still got the same answer. He started with the following. So why is this the same? That's because 65. So we think about why 65? Isn't that the other angle in the triangle?
This is a word saying for N.
Perfect, yeah. What's going on here? There we go. Yeah, that's because 65 degrees is the other angle of the triangle, and it relates 29x per. Remember, equations are relationships. That's all they ever are. Right? Equation are relationship. How do we understand a relationship? However it's defined. Sine is defined as opposite of hypotenuse. Cosine is defined as base of hypotenuse. Tangent is defined as opposite of base. That is how it's defined. That's what we need to go with. So 65 is the other angle, and it relates 29x perfectly. So that's why that would still get the same answer. Okay, questions so far about ABC? Yeah, we're good? I'll wait for you guys to get caught up. Okay, we're good. So now for part D and then the last problem. So solve for y using two ways, using both sine and cosine. Okay, so what you want to do is figure out this angle here. That's 37 degrees. We know that because they have to 90. So you can make two ratios. You can say sine of 53 degrees equals y over 5. Also, you can say cosine of 37 degrees equals y over 5. Each one should give you the same exact answer. So just having a bit of flexibility, that's all that we're trying to do here. And solving for y in each case. So you multiply both sides by 5, work it out. Should get exactly the same thing. Yep. Hold on. 5 cos. Yeah, you get 3.99 in each case. All right, last one, 515. And then, yeah, we got a little downtime. In problem 513, use trigonometric tools to find side length. But you have a way to find an angle. Okay. Examine triangles below. They look familiar. You can use whatever you need to do. So what we're going to say here is cosine or tangent theta again. Remember that little O with the line through is called theta, Theta. Which one are you going to use for C? Because this is adjacent clearly. And 10's a hypotenuse.
Close.
Yeah, good. Cosine theta equals 5 over 10. This one's tan theta equals 1 over 5. And that's 9 over 9. Now, how do you solve it? I'll do this in red. Theta will be the inverse tan of 9/9. Theta. So you do the inverse trig function, which helps you undo the trig function and solve for the angle. So it's just a feature that you utilize in the calculator. And your theta, because we're doing cosine, inverse cosine of 5/10. And you work out each case. Does that make sense? So what you're doing is you're doing a step further. You have the ratio side. You gotta get the angle that gets that gives it to you, right? So you have to actually do another feature called the inverse trig. It's kind of like, if you have x squared equals 25 square roots, or x plus 5 equals 10, you subtract. But if it's like x minus 5 equals 20, you divide by 5. You're just doing the opposite, and that's the opposite. And it's in the calculator. Hit the second, but we talked about this already. Hit the second button. Like in this case, we'll hit second tan for this and this. Here I have to hit second cosine for part C. And that's going to get you the inverse trig. So we just do this 3 times and we're good. So inverse tan of 1, which I know is 45 degrees because, they're both equivalent sides here. That's 11.31 degrees. And lastly, that's 60 degrees. There we go. You guys don't want to do any more? We can squeeze another lesson in. You're okay. All right. We'll do 2 lessons on Wednesday. Okay, that's fine. It's Monday. All right. So we're done. Homework is in Schoology. I do need to make a copy of it, so I'll try to do that.